In 1899, economist Thorstein Veblen argued that wealth only serves its social purpose if the public can actually see it. He called it conspicuous consumption, the idea that status is built through visible, undeniable spending. For over a century, that theory manifested as logomania. Aspirational wealth meant massive monograms and flashy branding covering every inch of a person's clothing. If you had money, you made sure it was recognizable. But today, the world's absolute wealthiest and most powerful individuals are moving in the opposite direction, intentionally stripping away these loud, recognizable symbols. Mark Zuckerberg provides the clearest example. Despite controlling one of the most valuable companies on the planet, he famously appears in high-stakes environments wearing rumpled jeans and a simple, casual black hoodie. This trend extends far beyond Silicon Valley. Across multi-generational family dynasties and the global ultra-rich, there is a coordinated shift toward muted, completely unbranded garments. These calculated uniforms function as an encrypted signal, allowing the elite to recognize one another while remaining completely illegible to the average person. Psychologists refer to this as having status to spare. By intentionally dressing down in a formal setting, an individual projects such immense power that they no longer need traditional clothes to prove their standing. A Harvard Business School experiment demonstrated this effect in the classroom. When a professor taught a class wearing casual, out-of-place red sneakers, observers perceived them as having higher status than colleagues in traditional, distinguished suits. The nonconformity implies their position is already untouchable. As loud luxury brands became oversaturated and heavily counterfeited, the ultra-rich experienced logo fatigue. The traditional markers of wealth simply became too accessible to serve as true separators. This chart tracks the mean retail prices of handbags across different segments of the market. While logo-heavy fashion houses average around $4,423 per item, brands operating in the silent space command a much higher price point, averaging $6,011. These brands justify that premium by reallocating value. Instead of charging a markup for a visible brand name, the cost is driven by material rarity and hidden craftsmanship, details that are invisible to the untrained eye. True luxury has evolved into a form that cannot be easily replicated or bought by the masses. It is no longer about the name on the outside, but the quality on the inside. But if there are no logos, how do the ultra-rich actually recognize status in the real world? Researchers in Milan tested this by observing two different groups: ordinary pedestrians and high-end boutique assistants. They set their baseline here, in the busy central train station, asking regular commuters to judge the wealth of different subjects based on their clothes. The pedestrian group relied on old-fashioned cues. They assumed a woman in an elegant, structured dress was wealthier than a customer standing there in frumpy gym clothes. However, the boutique assistants had the opposite reaction. These trained observers recognized the person in the gym wear as the true high-net-worth individual, spotting subtle micro-cues that the general public ignored. Those cues start with the raw materials. Insiders look for rare, ethically sourced natural fibers like vicuña. Harvested in the high-altitude Andes, these materials are so exclusive that their value can only be understood through touch, not a visual logo. They look for baby cashmere gathered from Herkus goats, materials cut into relaxed silhouettes and earthy, muted tones. It is a form of luxury that prioritizes personal sensory experience over public validation. By communicating status entirely through these subtle markers, the elite can signal their social capital to one another while remaining completely undetected by the general public. The era of conspicuous consumption is ending. In high society, it has been replaced by a pattern of behavior focused on being overlooked. Wealth signaling is no longer about broadcasting to the largest possible audience. The goal now is to intentionally restrict that signal to a select, culturally fluent few. This is a reaction to a digital landscape where everything is instantly visible and easily duplicated. When everyone has access to the same images, the only way to remain exclusive is to become unobservable. In a world of constant visibility, the ability to remain private has become a powerful form of exclusivity. True status is now found in the ability to opt out of the attention economy. While much of society spends to look rich, the billionaire class is paying a massive premium simply to remain invisible.